It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline: Obasanjo tells Buhari how to effectively tackle insecurity before 2023 elections. The news in full. The former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, has disclosed how President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government can tackle the insecurity in the nation, where Obasanjo said that the federal government should use carrot and stick approaches together to tackle insecurity in the country effectively. Speaking at a retreat in Abuja, the former president insisted that military action alone won't effectively tackle insecurity in the country Nigeria. People talk of political will, but I talk of political action. Political will is not enough. It must be matched by political action. The problem of insurgency will not go away if all we are using is the stick military action. We may suppress and keep it down a bit, but we have to use carrot and stick together to effectively tackle the problems, Obasanjo said. Stressing that the insecurity should be tackled locally, Obasanjo said that the menace should be addressed before the next general election, saying that the security in Nigeria is local and it must be addressed locally. Legislation should be able to tackle that before the next election, Obasanjo had said. And this is one of the reasons as well why the Minister of Sports and the former Minister of Sports and Development, that is Dalong Solomon, had actually come on board as well to say that enough is enough about the security position of the country, complaining that the federal government of Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari needs to look seriously into the security situation of the country, complaining that he cannot sleep with his two eyes closed, especially with the killings going on in the northern part of the country, where the 57-year-old man said in a Facebook post that because he is loyal to President Muhammadu Buhari does not mean that he will not point out all the areas that needs improvement in the country, and that is why he is saying this, and not because he was left out in the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari's regime, while he was not considered to serve again in the second term. It was said that the former minister has been vocal about the shortcomings of the government ever since then to ensure that the President Muhammadu Buhari finds a way to ensure that everything comes back to normal. And yet again, Obasanjo has said that military action would not be the most rational solution to the security situation of the country, saying that it is best for the federal government of Nigeria to use the carrot and stick method instead of the military action here and there, so that not every time that the political will be used, but political action is sacrosanct to bring about a rational change, especially the security situation of the country. Jonathan was said to have urged leaders to focus more on building a united nations where no one nation or nation should be given more prominence. If the leaders deviate, there must be a dissension and frustration for those who feel they are not being treated fairly, he said. Jonathan, a former president and a member of graduate class in 1981 at the University of Port Harcourt, said the reunion program was part of a group of student activities aimed at strengthening relationships between older alumni. He also said it is a forum to discuss issues affecting their alma mater and bring them back to school and the community at large. For his part, King Tuna said it was good to reunite his classmates after 40 years apart. Saraki made this intention known before his visit to the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otto, on Tuesday in Makurdi, whom he called a good party man under the People's Democratic Party. According to the reports, Saraki was in Makurdi with former governor of Kogi State, Idris Wada, former national chairman of the PDP, Kawu Baraji, Senator Suleiman Adokwe, and chairman of Council Saraki for President campaign, Professor Iyowese Haya. A political party that cannot organize its affairs has no business leading this country. A party that has organized its leaders, its affairs, is ready to lead the country, and that is PDP, Saraki is said to have stated. Autumn, on the other hand, stated that the PDP was on a rescue mission to save Nigeria from the current all-progressive Congress government. He also noted that Saraki was the first from the North Central Zone to declare his interest in running for president for 2023. The former governor of Kwara State also stated via his Twitter handle that he was ready to work with the party stakeholders in the North Central region while commending them for warm reception. He wrote, "I thank Governor Otom and all our party stakeholders and supporters in the state for the warm reception, and I look forward to working with them to foster the growth and development of our party and our nation." Another breaking news is that the lawyer who sued celebrities for supporting NSAS reportedly killed in Anambra State, where the human rights law activist and lawyer Kenechukwu Okeke has reportedly been murdered in Anambra State. His family made the disclosure on Thursday, stating that Okeke was allegedly macheted by his attackers, numbering 7 in his compound, and a keg of fuel poured on him because he was lit up and left to burn to death, according to a report by Daily Post. The controversial activist had filed criminal complaints before a magistrate court in Abuja against 50 persons over their alleged involvement in NSAS protests last year. Some of the persons listed in the suit include Nigerian football star Kanu Nwako, musicians Folani Falano, better known as Faust, Innocent Idibia, aka Tsubaba, and David Adleki, better known as Davido. Daily Post reports that Okeke was killed in Nkwo near Onitsha, Anambra State, in the presence of his wife, Mrs. Blessing Odinakachi Okeke, and his little daughter. Okeke's wife was quoted as saying Kenechukwu was killed by his tenant. The tenant, Chia Adobi, was living in our house, but when he packed out without our knowledge and asked to be given 2 months of his rent and he left, we told him that he should have notified us that he was packing out. My husband was not around that very day he came, but I told him he packed out of the house without our knowledge, and our money should be given back. And he threatening to do, and he can't be refunded any money again. So, and he threatening to teach my husband a lesson. I called my husband and told him what the boy said, and that he should not come to confront him since they say he is a bad boy. My husband later reported the matter to the DSS and to the police. He was made to write an undertaking, but he was still coming to terrorize us. Sometimes he will come to our house and break open the gates and come in and pick whatever he wants to pick. One day he came to our house and my husband confronted him, without knowing that he had many boys with him downstairs. And before my husband could actually say anything or do anything, they macheted him. And the fuel we wanted to pour in our gen, they poured it on him and lit him up, and that was how my husband died. That day was Sunday and not everyone was around, and a few people around tried to quench the fire and also stop it from burning our house, and later we took him to the hospital in Enugu, and that was how he died. Thanks for listening.